Good evening. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. Good evening. I want to share with you briefly what I call business expenses, taxes, and others. Business expenses, taxes, and others. When you are starting business, they encourage us to start business. And as a matter of fact, I think that until we take charge of our until we are creating a lot of businesses as a free market economy, until a lot of our people start to build businesses, we will not be able to create a lot of prosperity. Looking at the structure of our government and the kind of history that we have, I think that one of the things that we should just be bold enough to tell the people, especially us as Ghanaians, is people should be able to start companies. Now, the sad thing is that our government still behave like we are very developed economy, and so everything is so said that once you start a business, you should be able to very well. Now, the thing is that most of the people who are making the laws are using the data which is coming from very developed economy. Most of these guys who they have gone to schools in a very organized society, and a lot of things work out well in most of these societies. When they are given the mandate to look at certain the laws in such economies, they set the laws with the only angle of that they know, and the view that they know is coming from usually the West. The top government came with a lot of, having worked somewhere, came with a lot of money, came with a lot of connections, a lot of know-how, and then they started some business. Now, the reality of the people who start business in our economy, sorry. Majority of them don't have the kind of exposure most of these people have. Majority of us who start business in this kind of economy don't even have the majority of these majority of these guys who are heading most of these institutions have never gone through, like the way if you go to the market woman is trying to build a business, or if you go to the village, some young man somewhere is starting to, or if you go to any, they are coming from the so-called position, privilege, so to say. Now the other ones setting the laws for us have not been set so much in our favor, yet you are encouraged to start businesses. So you can't fight with the country. It's a country, is our obligation. It's our country, and those who lead us, the understanding go a long way to affect us. Now, recently you heard a lot of the things that they're doing on taxes, and we don't have a lot of graduates who have jobs. Now, the little ones who have started jobs to frustrate them so much that they give up. But it's just a choice that you have to make, whether you want to just hang up your life or you want to do something with your life. Now, if you have started to do something with your life by owning a business, don't expect a lot of these institutions to understand what you go through, and so you would want to fall on the right side of the law. And so it is important that you study them. It is important that you understand the obligations that the country requires of you. I think that a lot of them are very unfair. A lot of them are very uninformed. A lot of them are not realistic on the kind of structure, the kind of economy that we have. But we still have to deal with them. And I think that a lot of them are even structured, said that automatically they make you, if you want to do the right thing, you are even forced to do a lot of wrong things just to get by. And so and if you want to build business and you want to spend all your life building something, you don't want to be the one hiding all the time. at a point you would want to study the state institutions, you would want to know what they require, and you would want your business to be known and to grow. Now you can't hide and grow, or you can't grow and hide. Both of them apply. And so one of the things that you would be dealing with will be state institutions, for instance the GRA, the things that they take from you, SNED, and some other institutions that you would have to automatically give money even if you don't have it. And so your understanding of them is as important as you understanding your business, because the country is actually a stakeholder in the business that you started with your money. If they are not stakeholder, why are they taking a tax from you? And so when you restart, especially if you didn't do accounting and business studies and those things, you will not have a lot of, and you never worked, you will never have some bit of appreciation. You will not have appreciation for what they call taxes or other things that they will come and knock at your door for you to pay them. You will think that is unfair. I've always thought that. I mean, I didn't know it. I still even don't know it. And so those are some of the things that we probably would have to look at, because when you start, you feel like it's not fair, and it's really not fair. And some of the things, your financial success will fall into business than money any other place in this economy. So the earlier that they tell our people that if you want to take risk, take risk. And more debt fall in business than any other place as well. If you go to any fair economy, the people who own wealth, people who have built empires, people who own a lot of money, genuine money, are people who have solved problems for society. And they fall with the people who have built business systems and business structures, companies, investments, solving problems for society. Those are the ones who control a lot of wealth. Now, our kind of environment, a lot of it we don't know. We don't know, because people have all kind of ways of trying to make money. And it's not that other economies people don't cut corners. They do, but ours, the ones who are screwing us are. There are so many that it makes doing business even more bit more disturbing. But what can we do? We just have to learn what it takes if our environment does not support it that much. So doing business comes with risk, and one of the risks that you will be dealing with all the time will be government institutions and what they call taxes. And so in our economy, I just want to make you aware that some of these things are there, and if you overlook them, they get into trouble. Okay, so you have registered, you are working, even if you employ, if you are not an accountant, you wouldn't have some of these steps. And they charge, they call something VAT. You have to know them. They call some things corporate tax. Now, the taxes so that the country can run. They say that they provide electricity and water and roads. Where I live, I don't see them, but they still go around to take the taxes, and they have the laws to back them. And if you want to challenge them, you will see. And so this is the kind of situation we find ourselves in. It's our responsibility. The country is for all of us. It's not for the politicians, or it's not for you. It's for all of us. Some of the things will look unfair. They can actually come and incriminate you, make you a criminal if they find out that you are not paying some of these things. Even when you are registering your business, you have not even done any business, but they will take some tax there. As a matter of fact, when you go there, and you see, the thing is that the taxes and the finances, they are the duty of some people. You have to have accountants or audit firms to help you, people, consultants like that. But usually, when you are starting, you may not even be aware that this is what somebody would have to do to help you. You may not be aware at all, and there may not be that much information if you were like me, and you may not even understand the terminologies, and and so you are there, and they come to knock at your door to say that you are supposed to pay these things. And some of them will actually even use the opportunity to harass you And you know, a lot of them are not even working in the interest of the country, they are working in their own interest. These are the realities that you will deal with. But you have got to grow through that. Don't let those things put you off. And don't let those things make you compromise a lot of your values. It's a tough situation because the foundation itself is not right. And anybody at all can come and ask you anything. For instance, if you're spending on a business and let's say you went to the mechanic, you are supposed to take a receipt, they say. And yet they know that when you go to the mechanic, you can't take receipt. They know it. When you buy cocoa from you're on business trip and you buy cocoa or kelewele or something, they say that if it's a business expenditure, you are supposed to show receipt. They know. So the laws are not set realistically based on the structure of the economy. So if anybody wants to use the laws, the law that they have, the tax laws, to measure you, they can easily get you and punish you. And that's why a lot of people do businesses and they would have to hide a lot of things. It's not because they are not good people, but because when you get into the hands of the tax people, they know that the things that you are doing are not realistic, but they will still use them on you. And I don't even understand why we should give a lot of multinationals tax holidays, and then our small businesses, we are on them every minute to take taxes. It's unfortunate, but that's the structure that we came to meet. It's tough, it's painful, and I think that they kill more entrepreneurial spirit more than any other. If you look at the way that we have structured some of these things. For instance, do you know that if you don't pay SNIT, the insurance, and you have registered, and they can easily send you to court and deem it as a criminal offense, and you may not even know. And they can use it to frustrate you and because to a lot of them, they think that once you're doing business, it means that you have money. And so if you want to start a business, which you should, because if you want to make genuine money and prosper and create wealth, it's not politics. If anybody gets into politics and he has a lot of money, it's questionable. It's not even heading an NGO or even heading a church. It's still questionable. The genuine way to create wealth is when you're solving problems for society. Whether you're giving services or giving product, you're trading, you're selling. Those are the genuine ways that people would have to make money in a very honest economy. And so it's still the best way to create wealth. But there are a lot of impediments. And anybody at all can just get on your case and frustrate you and make you become the business that you started in your room that nobody was there, that you happen to register. The same business, the next 2 years, they tell you that you have evaded tax. So they want to jail you or they want to send you to court. And so if you're like me, you would want to study it. You would want to know all the things that are involved. Sometimes it's very frustrating because I think the state has given a lot of power to some of these institutions, which they themselves are not even organized. They don't have any database. They still write on paper. Today you meet this man, he said something different. Another day you meet this man, he says something different. It's not really organized. Yet they have power to frustrate and prosecute people. It's a very difficult situation. But it's a country. That's how it is. So you, as a business person, would have to cover yourself. You would have to learn it. You have to study it. You have to know the difference. You would have to just go through it, no matter how little it is. I understand all the obligations that are required of you if you start a business. And so you would want to go there and ask them questions. Ask them questions. What is payee? Ask them. What are your obligations in VAT? Ask them. What do they call income tax or corporate tax? Ask them. Because a lot of us, we didn't know. We just went to school to do engineering, that's it. And I didn't work anywhere to know a lot of these things. So we had to learn it on the ground. Learn it. Go there. Ask them questions. Don't hide. Because you can't build a big business if you don't know these things. And some of these organizations who call themselves consultants and accounting firms, they come to do one thing for you. They want to charge you millions. So maybe you would want to go there and learn it yourself, or you would want to have a friend who can be educating you and be telling you what it means and things like that. And don't run away. Understand the percentages that they do. I'm not an expert on that, so I can't give you specific figures, but what I know is that if you start a business and you want to grow the business, some of these things you would want to know them. And so get to the SNET, ask them questions. What is it required of you? You are there and AMA will come to your office and say that pay AMA business permit something. We pay and we don't know who audits them. We pay every time and we don't even know who audits them. We don't know what they use the money for. But it's our country. That's the system that we have come to meet. We have to question. We have to ask them questions. But if you ask questions, nobody stands up to own. They say that you must the better I don't know until they want to. That's it. And so it's that complex. But this is our country. This is our country. This is the country that we so love. So we have no other, you just have to know the tax obligations and understand them. And they have all kind of calculations that they do, very complex. You don't have to master the calculations. You just have to know that you are supposed to pay something. And if it gets complex, get an accountant, get an accounting firm to help you to understand that. And depending on the kind of business structure that you have, if it's a limited liability, there are things that they require of you every year. Audited accounts that you have to submit. There is, other things that they have to do for you, and study them. They are not difficult. You just have to know that they are. You just have to be aware that these are there, and your knowledge in some of these things will help you and save you from a lot of troubles, especially if you work from the. Mistakes you make them business, knowing that you are just there to screw and lie and cheat and things like that. And so learn them. Go and learn them. Go and learn about what they call taxes in the country that you do business, so that they don't get you into trouble. Because a lot of the people that they every now and then, you see how the IRS treats a lot of people. They just publish it in the newspaper and say, oh, these people were trying to evade tax. And usually when you go to listen to them, it may not be so. And then they don't even know that these actions and these threats and all those, they put a lot of fear in people. It makes people give up. Why should I want to go through all this and somebody will just come, they will not even listen to your part, they just lock your business and threaten you and say you're evading tax, and they don't want to even reason with you. And some of them, let's face it, some of them are doing this not be in the interest of the state. Sometimes it's in their own interest. But that's how it is. And so are you going to get used to them? I don't know. But the things are many. So you will hear of income tax, you will hear of pay as you earn. You hear of the VAT, they will come, and sometimes if you do projects, they will take withholding tax. If you pay rent, they will take withholding tax. They're all supposed to be filing on your behalf. We don't know, because it's not centralized, it's not organized. Some of them you pay, they can't even track it, and yet they will jump to say that they will come and audit you, they will come and look into your books. And if somebody sees somewhere and is hungry and he wants to build a house, he jumps and comes to your business. These are the things. Until it's improved, you are going to be dealing with some of these things. So don't panic. Meet them, talk. A lot of them are human beings as we are, and they just don't know that their actions are putting a lot of people off. Their actions are making a lot of people worry not to even start business. Their actions are making a lot of people not to come out openly to be building business, because they just tag you as if you are dishonest. And SNET and AMA, fire service, if you're dealing with any place that you need certificate, that's another thing. EPA, the agencies, you go to a lot of crazy things. But it's life. The more you grow, the more you get to know what is in life. So the more you're growing your business, the more you will know what there is to it. And it's a responsibility to at least also improve the system as well. So once you also go and you feel like the system is frustrating, when you meet them, you also tell them what you think can be done, because it's our country. Sometimes they do what they do not because they know. Sometimes they do what they do because they also don't know. A lot of them don't even know that the actions that they are taking are putting a lot of people are making a lot of people dishonest, a lot of people to give up, a lot of people to just shut down and stop everything that they're doing. So they will put pressure on you, especially. A lot of them, if they find you, they will put a lot of pressure on you, and they may not even have a format as to what to do. You just come and they just say that is the law. And I don't understand why you should give, say, SNET power. Knowing very well that our system, most of these government workers, you know it. So what do you give them power to prosecute? I don't get it. Until the system is very honest, what do you give power to some of these institutions to? Just frustrate an ordinary guy somewhere selling his phones, doing his business, trying to survive, and the next day they go there, they threaten them, they go there with chains, with cars, and yes, genuinely we have to pay. But you have to train them to a point where they can pay. Nobody has given them training. He just started the business. He was just struggling somewhere. The next minute he opens his phone shop. He's selling somewhere. You come and say that he has not paid VAT. And you want to... Why don't you make it simple for such people to survive? Why? Why don't you make this... It's because of the content of the education that we have given to a lot of these state institutions and the head. A lot of the education that we all had was European, Western education. Now, the base of our economy is not European. They have data, they have systems, they can track a lot of things. We don't have data, we don't have anything, and yet you're using the same kind of structure to measure us. The guy is living in his village, he's struggling. Somebody gives him 2,000, he's able to build a business which is selling blocks somewhere, and you go there and you just want to threaten him and close his business. Why? Because he's not paying VAT or he's not paying income tax. I'm not saying he's not paying, but did you give him grace period? Did you help him? Did you train him? They will not do that, but they will come and frustrate you. Now, do you have to give up? No, don't have to give up, because they will all lie or they will all hide behind the laws. And so you have to study. You have to educate yourself. You have to know that these are the things that they will come and be threatening you. And should that mean that you should stop on your vision? You should give up on yourself? I don't think so. Don't give up on yourself. Learn them, because at a point they will come. And when they come, face them. You're not a criminal. A lot of people are just genuine. Why would you want to go to the market and say, and a lot of it because people say that, they work for the government and they pay tax from the source. They pay tax from the source. If the person has also employed 3 people, he's not helping the economy. He has employed 3 people. We should be doing things to help people who are giving employment, because those are the things that we need. People who are creating value, people who are creating opportunities. But the way it appears, we just want to frustrate everybody. And then the other day you heard it. They said that if you don't have thing, this thing, that thing, that. We don't even have addresses yet. You're talking about 10. But this is where we live. I don't know whether I'm wrong or they are wrong. I don't know whether I'm right or they are right. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's your vision. So know some of these things. Study them. Because if you want to build business, you will meet a lot of this. And sometimes you may think that you may even regret trying to do anything of that sort. But don't regret. Don't regret at all. Learn them. People have endured them. People have succeeded. People have prevailed. I don't know if they were honest, but it's important that you do them honestly. So start from somewhere. Start to go through the structure. Start to go through. Learn the terms. Learn the terminologies. Learn what they require. Learn. Go through it. It's difficult. It's tough. It's disheartening, because I think that a lot of things should be very easy. It should make a lot of things very easy for businesses to, a lot of the businesses, 70-80% of the businesses are just small businesses who are just, people who have employed themselves and their children or their wives or their friends. A lot of these businesses are going through a lot of, troubles already. They are borrowing at 40% a year, 70% a year if they go to microfinance. And then you go there to say that you are not paying your employees something contribution. If you have a government, why are we borrowing at 70%? If there is a government, if the same government can come around to ask you for, if there's a government, where are we protected? Where is the road? Where is the water? And they said that if you don't pay the taxes, then they can't get money to. You don't pay the taxes, they can't get the one that they pay. Those who paid. So these are questions that you ask yourself, and you do what you have to do. But it's a bit, and it's that whenever you're dealing with state issues, they don't even want you to ask any question. They don't want to know. When you're dealing with state institutions, a lot of them don't want questions. Why? Because their interest is not to defend their people. Their interest is somewhere else. State institutions are supposed to help their people to succeed. And so learn them. They will come. Don't run away. You are not a criminal. You're just trying to build a business. You are not trying to hide. So they should rather teach us how to do these things and do them well. A lot of us don't even know the difference. You need an audited account. You just call an accountant somewhere or the audit firm, and they come and prepare something. Sometimes they don't even extract the right information. They prepare something. A lot of people cannot even read and understand the statement. The accounts, they don't even understand it. They just go, because their bank said they need it, so they just call somebody, then give it to them. They don't even know what is in it. Even if they can read, when they read, they don't understand it. These are facts. And yet the IRS will get a copy of that and use that to assess your business. Something that somebody just came to take information from your door, you thought it was you thought you needed it for contract. They are going to use it against you. And so study them. Whenever you are giving information to somebody to prepare accounts for you, that you are going to take it to any institution at all, make sure that you are responsible, because you are the ones signing. Ask them questions. Go through it. Even if you don't understand it, ask them, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? What is that? Because the moment you sign it and you go and give it to them, they will use it as a tool against you. And sometimes you may just be preparing it only for some bank loan somewhere, and you happen to give it to them. So study it. The taxes, study them. Business expenditure. It's not just your salaries that your expenses. It's not just the project costs. It's not just the fuel. It's not just the car repairs. It's not just the office rent. It's not just the telephone and the mobile. It's not just the computer you're using. It's not just the loan cost. The government is a stake in your business. It's the stakeholder in your business. If you don't know, it's actually a shareholder. It takes something from your business, and sometimes whether you make profit or you don't make profit, they will pay. You pay the taxes, especially on the salary you pay. Withholding tax, whether you are making profit or you're not making profit, they will take from source. You do supply for somebody, they will take withholding tax. So. And then income tax they will take. If you declare profit, they will take. What other one? VAT, they will come and ask you to pay the flat rate. Yet they know that it's not realistic. And then they will come and ask you. SNET will also come. Have you registered your workers? Do you pay their contribution? Doing business in a country is crazy. Crazy. But we just have to grow and understand that these are the things that we are going to go through to learn. So don't run away from them. Financial success falls in business than more any other place. So you have to muzzle up, train, learn the processes. Doing business comes with risk. Part of the risk is the taxes that you just get yourself involved. Before, you are just working somewhere, somebody else was paying the taxes, or maybe was not paying. You didn't have any problem with government agencies, anything. Now that you have registered a business and you say that you have an office and you're doing something, you are exposed. But don't run away. If they come, all your workers can go. But you are responsible because you took the risk. Now, just as you took the risk, you also have. Life is fair. That's why when there is benefit, you are the one responsible for the benefit as well. So if you're taking the risk, then when the rewards come, you have the call. So don't let the risk put you off. Look at the rewards as well, and be ready to go through all the processes to learn about which state institution is what, and be ready to deal with them. I think one of the things that we all have to learn will be how to do these things well. So train. So a lot of them will not give us any grace period. Especially depending on the industry that you start, they may not give us any grace period, but just go through them, learn, and don't run away, don't hide. Start to go through the processes yourself, learn them yourself. After 2-3 years, you will be able to know what it takes to handle some of these things. Okay, the foundation of the economy does not support a lot of the laws that they have given us in terms of taxes and business. They are unrealistic. So do what you can. They are unrealistic. Those are facts. Most of your businesses most of our business people don't even know what they are doing, and you are calling for taxes. And when they are talking, you see, the thing is that those who are setting the laws on the taxes, they don't even pay tax. That's what it's painful. Most of the MPs and those guys, the government officials, most of them don't even pay any tax. Yeah, they are the ones giving us laws on taxes. It's amazing. So when they are creating pain, they don't know. A lot of them get free accommodation, free fuel, free electricity, and they are the ones setting the laws. I found out this, I was amazed. So if we don't get them to pay, then how would they how would they change them in our favor? How would they even understand the statistics well? But it's our country. So when there's a situation, a government can just take you on and call you a criminal because they have found that your company is not paying taxes, or your company is not even compliant. Compliant means that you have not even registered with them at all. You have not even gone there to tell them that you are doing business. So if nothing at all, if you have done it for a while and you think that you are making some revenue and you understand what they are doing and you are ready to go out, go there and start the process, and don't run away. I think that is also on your part as a citizen to do what you can in terms of the taxes, and especially understand it, because you cannot continue to hide. At a point, you should know what it is. And so the salary taxes they will take, the VAT they will take, the income tax they will take, and things like that. You don't have to be the accountant to understand the terms. You just have to know. But when it comes to preparing some of those things, you give it to somebody who understands it. And to school you, one of the best things to do is to learn these terminologies and know them. Don't run away from them. So they are very important, and it's our duty, it's our obligation to continue to learn some of these things. I think that every business in our country should be given about 5 years to go through this. I think that, because the foundation does not support it. I really think that. Just as when you go to another country and they are starting agriculture, they don't worry about water. Here, the farmers rely on rainwater. It means the level of our economy is still struggling. Let's face it. So what do you want to bring all this standardized? Just have a uniformity for everybody. If you do business, something like that. If you're a Ghanaian company and you are in this kind of industry, make it flexible, make it easy for the people to, so it can be easy for people. If you go to some places, the guy has stayed in the house for 5 years. He finished school. He was hopeful. He doesn't have a job after 5 years. He starts to do. You're frustrating him with that. That's very unfortunate. But those are the things. Right. Sorry. So the network is not good. I am running up, and so it shouldn't frustrate you. It's the reality. So just toughen up, study the processes, because if you don't study them, then you cannot grow your business. It can be big. Your business cannot be big. Why? Because you'll be hiding. There's no need to hide. Just learn the processes and go and talk to them. Some of them are just people like you. Some of them are very reasonable. Some of them can take their time to also teach you and help you to go through and learn what you have to learn. So learn the tax